Welcome to this edition of Chopper Chat. Just something a little bit different today. We're talking wheels instead of rotors, and I have with me the president of the Hibiscus Waters, Grant McKechnie. Welcome, and club member Sharon Morris. Hello to you both.
Hi,
Good morning.
thank you.
We're talking to you because your club's a massive supporter of the Auckland Rescue Helicopter Trust. But just first of all, Grant, tell me about the Hibiscus Waters. What is it? What do you do?
So we started about 40 years ago with just a small group of guys that were spanner hands, so used to working on the cars and things like that, into hot rods, into enjoying the same sort of things, that taking the cars for runs and stuff like that, and it's just progressed from that. And we're now up to a club of about 80 plus people. Still got spanner hands in it, but then we also have lots that just like to get their cars looking nice by somebody else and just drive them.
Wonderful.
So
And it's your 40th anniversary this year.
40 years this year.
Brilliant. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the events that are happening for that, but I want to talk about how the club got behind the Auckland Rescue Helicopter Trust. And Sharon, I really need to ask you that question because your family was crucial in that happening. Tell me about that.
Yes, back in 1998, I lost my brother who had a heart attack, and the guys from Westpac Helicopter rescued him and took him from Tauranga, brought him up to the Green Lane Hospital, and on arrival he had another cardiac arrest. So we lost him, and my family's been right on board with the helicopter ever since, yeah.
So you started off fundraising, I think you were writing a recipe book, is that right?
That's right, yes. I'm a hairdresser by trade, and I just thought with all my clients we're always sharing recipes, and I thought what we'll do is we'll make a book and make it a great fundraiser, and I haven't actually finished that book yet. It's still sitting in a folder. Yeah, well, a group of us, we were out on a run one day up north. We were at the Lee Sawmill, I think it was, and having lunch, and we thought, it'd be great to have like a little mini beach hop down in Orewa, our local town, and support all our local town and promote hot rodding. And so, yeah, it sort of turned from a recipe book into a hot rod show.
And that became the major fundraising event. And Grant, that's to date has raised
365,000.
365,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge amount. That's over a 12-year period, but that's a lot of money.
Yes.
How do you raise that kind of money?
And we're getting better as we go, aren't we? Every year's a bit better, isn't it? So
Yes, it started off as a one-day event, and the first year we raised $3,800, and now it's grown into a weekend affair, and we do a great big auction for Westpac Helicopter, and we've got great supporters with that.
Yes.
That come along every year, and we wouldn't be able to put the show on actually if we've had sponsors from day one, from the very first year that we had them. They're still with us, and we couldn't do it without them, so it's a huge thank you to them. And then we've got all the hot rodders that come along and pay to come and enter, as we were chatting before, Grant.
Yeah. So without their support we couldn't do it, and without the support of the sponsors and the people that give us items to auction every year they give us stuff to auction, and we get given a car, and we've been given spa pools, and just you name it, we get all sorts of things to auction. And it's amazing how often those people that are supporting us have a connection with the rescue helicopters, and so they're happy to support us. And
Absolutely,
it's fantastic.
Absolutely. Now you've got several events planned for the 40th.
Yes.
So tell me about that, because some of it, the public can come and have a look at some of the cars too.
Yeah. So the first thing up is on the 13th and 14th of August, we're putting on a car show, which is just club cars. So we've got 60 plus cars coming along, so millions of dollars worth, and right from rods right through to the big Yank tanks and all the muscle cars and everything in between, and people are very welcome to come along and see. It's an indoor show.
Brilliant. And then you've got a club tour.
Yep, so in October, we've got a tour down to the Waikato, and a 3-day event. Yeah, so we're going to go down there and go through some private museums and some nice displays of cars and man caves and all sorts of things like that, and meet up with some other hot rod clubs down there and do some runs with them.
Brilliant. And then of course January next year, end of January next year, your big event.
Yes, it's always Auckland Anniversary Weekend, and we're planning a 3-day event again, which is great because COVID's given us a few little sort of curly corners to get around. But we're looking forward to that, aren't we, Grant? Lots of cruising, a few parades, and we'll be having the auction again. So we're really, really pleased about that.
I know some people will be watching thinking, talk about the cars. So I'm going to ask you first, Sharon, about this amazing vehicle behind me. That's your baby.
That's my baby, yes. She's a 59 Pink Caddy, and I've had her for 14 years. And yeah, she's just my pride and joy, really. I've had so much fun with her. My kids have grown up in her since my daughter was 2. And we've always enjoyed the events, the parades. We've had lots of family things, haven't we, in the club?
Yeah.
It's been great. So yeah. And us girls have gone out and had lots of girls trips. In fact, on that note, we've got a group of us in the club, the V8 Chicks. I have to mention that.
and you'd be very subtle, of course, driving around in this. No one would notice you at all, Sharon.
Yeah, there's a few of us now, isn't there?
Yeah,
What about 20 or 30 girls in the club?
I think it's, about 40% of the cars in the club now belong to ladies and are driven by ladies.
And that's I suspect that's changed a lot in the 40 years, has it, right? Yeah, brilliant. Pleased to hear. Behind you?
That's my 1959 Chevy Apache pickup. Yes.
Fantastic.
My pride and joy.
It is a beautiful, beautiful vehicle, isn't it? Takes a little bit to keep it that glossy, I imagine.
It does.
It does.
And he goes out on dry days.
Fair enough. Now look, the Hibiscus Waters has done so much for the Auckland Rescue Helicopter Trust over the years. I know that, and so I know that the Trust was really keen to say a very big thank you to you both, to the whole club for putting so much effort and to support and to raising so much money. I mean, $365,000 over 12 years, and I know that you're still working hard at it. So that's brilliant. So just a little thank you from the Trust to you all.
All over the flowers.
Thank you. That's lovely.
That's lovely.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Young man, there we go, Grant.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate.
Awesome.
Thanks very much. It's really nice.
Thank you very much. Can I just say a big thank you to our club because our club works all weekend, that weekend at our event, and they're always shattered and exhausted, aren't they? But every year we pull them all back in, but thank you.
So the aim of the club now always is to try and cover the costs on the coast for the Rescue Helicopter Trust. That's what we aim to do every year.
Yeah.
What a wonderful thing to give to a community. Sharon and Grant, thank you so much for joining us today. It's amazing what you do. Many, many thanks. And thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time for another Chopper Chat.